Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is a tutorial video and this is my first tutorial video, and I am going to discuss about the technical subject as because all the technical students are now very much attentively prepared their exam as semester exam is knocking at the door. So guys, it is for you and this is the very important subject which I will going to discuss about the microcontroller. So you all know the microcontroller is a very important subject to each and every technical students, and it can help you in your future as your career. Okay, so be with me up to the end of the video and please subscribe my channel as because I will put some detailed tutorial or detailed description of the microcontroller, and as well as if you want to know anything else, if you have any doubts, then please comment in the comment section below. Okay, so guys, be with me, and this is the block diagram of microcontroller. This is the basic part and the introduction part of microcontroller. So let's go. Today I am discussing about the block diagram of the microcontroller. This is the basic of microcontroller. You have to first know about the block diagram. Okay, so this is the block diagram where each and every parts of the microcontroller is presented here and also described here. Now you can see each and every parts where these parts are presented. That means the position of each and every parts of the defined 8051 microcontroller IC. And first one is, you can see, that is the interrupt controller block, and where external interrupt is connected here. So first you have to know what is the external interrupt. Interrupt nothing but the signal that can obstruct the total processing of the microcontroller IC. When 8051 is connected or interface with another system, if you want to know what is interface, please follow my channel. I will describe later. So when microcontroller is connected through another system, at that time that system can send some request signal to process the system's working. So microcontroller have to wait for some times its running program, and microcontroller then process the another system's program. So microcontroller's running process is hampered for some times, and that the signal for that that is caused that is the signal for which microcontroller's program is hampered, that is called the interrupt signal. So there are so many interrupt signals, I will explain later. Today only the brief description about the interrupts, and these interrupts is coming through the interrupt control block. Interrupt control can control the which type of signal is coming first and which one the next. That means the priority of some interrupts is controlled by the interrupt controller, and this interrupt controller is going to the CPU unit. You can also know what is the CPU. CPU nothing but the central processing unit. That means that can control the total system, and it can operate the total process, and CPU can accept or process the data and then send the data to the sending device. That means total central processing unit is here introduced in the CPU part. And previously when we have all used the computer, and there is the CPU is the another system, but when it is introduced into the microprocessor, that is become an portable device, an IC, and here the CPU is on chip into the microcontroller IC. So there is a big difference between microprocessor and microcontroller. If you want to know, then I will explain later. Now coming to the part that is ROM and RAM part. You can see 4 kilobyte RAM and 128 byte RAM, and total part is called the memory, that is the on chip memory. That means this memory IC is divided in two parts, that is ROM and RAM part, and this memory is also on chip into the microcontroller unit. So all the things, all the parts are also on chip into the IC. This is not the another parts or another device or external device. This is internal memory of the microcontroller, and this is the RAM and ROM part, from where it can send or accept the code, accept the data, or also send the data. Okay, so we all know about the memory. There is so many memories, that is primary, secondary, but here we can use only the ROM and RAM part, and this is 4 kilobyte RAM and 128 byte RAM, and 4 kilobyte ROM are used here in 8051 microcontroller. Now you can see the total line where the bidirectional arrows are present here. This is called the bus. Bus is nothing but the connecting cable throughout all the parts of the IC, any type of IC, that is microcontroller IC, microprocessor IC, all have some bus, and that is the different bit number. Okay, so here these are the bus, and the total bus is called the system bus, that can control the total part or total system, that is coming the data or sending the data. And the total bus is, that is system bus, are divided here in three parts, that is address bus, second one is the data bus, and another one is the control bus. All have the different bit numbers, and these address, data, and control bus can work different type of processing work. Okay, and these through buses, microcontroller can accept data, can send the data, can point out from where the data is coming and from where the data is going to. So there are different works are done through the different system buses, that is address bus, data bus, and control bus. All the buses are connected here through the bus control unit, and so the bus control unit can control the buses. And next part, left hand side of the bus control unit, that is called the oscillator. And we can see here the crystal oscillator is connected here. The oscillator is giving the clock pulse or frequency to the CPU for the operating purpose. As we all know the equation, that is f varies as 1 by t, that means when frequency is increases, time is less. So oscillator that can control, and this oscillator, this is the crystal oscillator, and this is crystal oscillator, which one is connected to the two parts of the oscillator, and through this oscillation block, that is going to the clock pulse to the CPU for the operating purpose. And now coming to this part, that is called the input output ports. There are 4 input output ports is present here, that is P0, P2, P1, and P3. This sequence must be maintained here. P0, P2, P1, and P3 are all 4 ports, and all 4 ports are connected to the input output ports, and that is called that can accept the data or send the data from any address location of the memory or any address location of the peripheral unit, and this P0, P2, P3, P1 are also the 8-bit ports which are connected through the input output ports block to the 8051 IC. By these ports, microcontroller can also point out the location from where or from to where it can send or it can accept the data. Okay, and this is performed for only the 8-bit datas, and this is the 8-bit ports. So guys, this is the 4 ports, and now coming to the right hand corner, and you can see there is the timer portion, that is the timer or counter that can control the pulse width of the coming clock pulse from the oscillator, and it can count the pulse width or pulse modulation. And here the two timers, you can see timer 1 and timer 0. The two timers are also the 16-bit timers, and where the computer or input system is connected here. And the last one is the serial port, that is when microcontroller works as the serial interface to the another peripheral system or another device. At that time it can send the data to TXD, that means transmit the data, and it can accept the data through RXD, that means receive the data. So when 8051 microcontroller interface as the serial interfacing unit, then TXD and RXD have the main important role to send and receive the data. So this is the total block diagram of the 8051 microcontroller. So guys, if you face any type of question that draw and describe the architecture of microcontroller, don't draw this figure, as because this is not the architecture, this is only the block diagram of the microcontroller. So there is some difference between block diagram and architecture of any type of IC. So if you want to know, then I will describe it next video when I will go to the architecture of microcontroller. So guys, today is the portion I just cover only the block diagram of microcontroller. Please read this attentively, and please prepare good, as because exam is knocking at the door. And all the best, good luck for your exam. Okay, and follow my channel also, and if you want to know more technical tutorial, then subscribe my channel. Thank you.